Здравствуйте! Welcome again to Creative Slav. Today I'm going to cook for you Blini. We call these at home pancakes just to make it easier for the kids, I guess, but at home we've made these a lot. I remember when we were kids, my dad actually took over the kitchen on the weekends, and he was up early in the morning, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, cooking stacks and stacks of these blini. And I remember waking up to the smell of this and always look forward to making these. So ever since then, I have also been cooking it, and whenever I get together with my family, which has been such a long time, I haven't seen my sisters in several years. But anytime I go and visit my sister, I always make a point of making these blini. So they're very easy to make and very popular. What you want to do is, there's no set recipe. Basically, you have to feel what the dough is like and then work from there. I'm going to make a small batch, so I'm just going to use 2 eggs, but normally you would make more. But it's just my son and I, so I'm just going to put 2 eggs in here. We're going to make a small batch of this. And you're going to get a mixer. For this, I'm going to use a mixer. I used to always do it by hand, but I'm getting tired these days, so I'm not going to be using it by hand. And of course, there's always some difficulty getting the plug in. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to just put the mixer on. Let's put these prongs in. And the other thing you want to add to this is salt, and there'll be some oil. So I'm going to use, again, just measure by hand that much salt. If you want to put vanilla in there, you can as well, but I'm not going to today. So blend that up. Okay, and turn that off. And the other thing I like to add is oil. I'm using sunflower oil today. Just a little bit of oil. And I'm going to add, so that's maybe about a tablespoon of oil and some milk. And this is where you want to keep your milk and your flour out, because this is where you adjust the amount that you're putting in. Because it does have to be a certain kind of thickness to it. So I'm getting, this is just plain unbleached white flour. And a good idea if you're using a mixer that you just kind of mix it up a bit, because of course sometimes the powder goes all over the place. So I'm going to just blend this up. Sorry for everybody, there's a lot of noise. Yeah, normally I make way more than this. So this is really a small batch that I'm making for you guys today. You can also add sugar. I like adding a little bit of sugar in it, just to give it a little bit more flavor. Just scoop that up. And so maybe like about a tablespoon of sugar. At home, my mom didn't have any kind of measuring spoons. She used these. This was a teaspoon, and the other bigger one was the tablespoon. So mix this up. And then get the stuff from the sides. And it'll be this lovely golden color, and that's coming from the eggs, of course. It's looking pretty good. You can, of course, just hand mix it too. Sometimes it's a lot easier because then there's less cleaning, which is always good. Now, the test is the thickness. So what do you pour it? It should be about like this thick consistency. And you'll see there's lumps in there, but that's not to worry, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just let this rest for about half an hour, and I'll come back to you and we'll cook this up in a few minutes, and I'll show you all the toppings that you could put on there. So for right now, I'm going to just take a quick little break to let this set for half an hour. Okay, paka. Hi, welcome back. Okay, over here we have the blini mixture that is been sitting around for about half an hour. Right now I use the big spoon to test. This is, when it comes like this, it's kind of a little bit too thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more milk. And so usually after you let it sit for half an hour, it thickens up. So you want to add a bit more milk, because you want to make these pretty thin. So I just mix it up like that. And as you go and cook these, they will get thicker or thinner, the batter, and so you want to adjust it along the way. So always have your milk and flour right near you. So this is a bit thinner. I'm still thinking it's too thick, so I'm going to add just a bit more milk. So I guess maybe I put about half a cup of flour in this mixture and maybe half a cup of milk. But I'm not too sure because I have never measured any of this stuff. So you have to do it by the feel of it. So I'm just pouring it like this so you can see the consistency of it. So you can adjust when you get home. So it's not like poured milk. There's some heaviness to it. Okay, I'm going to turn now on the stove to high. And usually when we make these pancakes, always the first one doesn't turn out. So I think there's a name for it, and if anybody in the audience is listening to this and know the exact name for that first pancake that comes out, let me know, because I know there's got to be a name for it. Usually it's too greasy, or it's not thick enough, or not thin enough. Something goes wrong with it. So hopefully we won't have that problem, but you never know. So I have that sitting, waiting. What you want to do is test if it's hot enough by taking your spoon and just dripping. And when it starts bubbling, then you know it's ready. I usually make a big mess when I make these things, so hopefully you'll be neater in the kitchen. So that's still not hot enough, so we have to wait and be patient. I'm just thinking of other ideas for you for these blini. When it comes to putting things into them, there's all kinds of ingredients you can put in. Usually, again, I made this for my family with a lot of people, so I usually make more. One time I was in university and I made these, and I invited everybody at the university and the residents who were there for the summer, and we had a little crepes and champagne party. So these are very popular. Right now I'm hearing word that there's a company in New York that's selling them on the stands. It's been my idea to do this for many years, but haven't gotten around to it. So these are fast food items in Russia. They fill them with all kinds of things. Okay, I'm going to put this in now. Usually you can have a ladle, which might be better if I can find one. And I'm going to put 2 scoops in here. Some people have the pancake makers, or they're like a flat iron that you dip your batter in. I do not have one of those. And I just take it and turn it like this. Okay. So what you want to look for is before you flip it, you can look to see how it's bubbling in the center, if it's bubbling, and also when the edges start curling up, and you can pull them away from the sides and it's sort of dry at the sides. And I also check by flipping a little bit to see how they're doing. Now I know there's some people who can take this up in the middle of the air and throw it around, but I cannot do that. So I just take it and turn it around and see you've got that lovely golden color. And so I'm probably going to just make 2 of these so I can show you how to put the ingredients on them. So on the second side usually doesn't cook as long. And you do want some oil on there, otherwise it doesn't cook right. So this one I think is done. Okay, and I'm just going to... Over at the table here, I have a couple of ingredients. I have here the sweet and the savory. So I have in here a whole bunch of different kinds of fruits. I have some sour cream, which I topped with some honey. I have that cheese, the farmer's cheese that I made earlier with milk and lemon, and I boiled it and put a little bit of salt in it, and it curdled the milk, and then you run it through a cheesecloth, and then you get this nice cheese. Doesn't really taste like much, so you want to add some sugar to it. I have here dill, I have capers. Ideally you want to have caviar, but I just can't do caviar, and some salmon. So what you want to do, I'll do the sweet first. You have many different ways you can do this. Most Russians that I've seen fold it in quarters, but that's not the way I did it at home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these mixed fruits and just slather them in the center. And some people like to put syrup as well, like maple syrup. I'm not going to do that right now. Some cherries. We have some really nice cherries in the store right now, and I love cherries. And I'm going to add some of this farmer's cheese as well. And some people just do a tight roll with the farmer's cheese and make them really small, and you can find those in the store. I might do that as well. And I'll just add some sour cream because I just really love sour cream. Okay, and then, so there's a lot in there, but that's okay. And then you just take it and you roll it up. Maybe you put way too much in there. Okay, and usually you want to tuck the ends in. That's what they would do with the farmer's cheese, and but I'm not going to do that. Okay, the other one that you can do is to do savory. So I have here some salmon, and this time I think I'm going to put the sour cream on first, and I'm just going to spread it out like this. And then I'm going to add some of the salmon. And you could use all kinds of meat, ground beef, ground turkey would work well with this. And anything you want, whatever you like, put on here. Anything goes. Okay, I'm going to put some of the capers and some fresh dill on there.
Kind of looks like a fish sandwich.
Kind of like a fish sandwich, yes it is. So, and then you roll these up. Again, the Russians fold in quarters, but I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to try these both now. See how they go. First, we'll have the dinner and then the dessert. So the dinner, here, I'll just take a slice of that, and you can see all the good stuff in there. That is so good. And the pancakes are just the right texture. And I'm going to try the sweet. My ingredients are all falling out. And so good. Now, if you want to prepare this for a special guest, roll a couple of these out. Make them a lot smaller. You can use a smaller pan. Just put the farmer's cheese in it, and you can sprinkle it with icing sugar and top it off with some mint leaves. It'll really be beautiful. But this is how we served it at home. It was just everybody sat at the table, grabbed a stack of these Blini, and dug in with whatever ingredients we had available. So I really hope you take the time to make some Blini, or find somebody who does make them, and enjoy this. This is a really nutritious, well, maybe not so nutritious. It's a very filling and really scrumptious meal. Both sweet and savory. So Blini from Creative Slav, thank you very much, and paka.